Hi guys, it's Katie, and winters can get really lonely, especially here in Ithaca as a Cornell student. Winters are really long. We're at the start of March and it's still pretty cold. Usually Ithaca winters still go to April, so I really wanted to do this chill video where we just talk about winter, talk about loneliness, because it's real. And especially as someone who grew up in the tropics on an island where it was summer all year round, experiencing winter for the first time, far from family, with no support system when I first came here, it was tough. I just wanted to do this video to reassure you that if you're alone in your room right now and you've just been staying in a lot, I've been there too, and there are things that we can do to get through this together and honestly find the joys of winter. So let's just get right into it. I think the first really good thing that winter is uniquely positioned to do is it actually helps you deepen your current friendships, because when it's winter, there's not as much you can do outside. We'll get into that later with some winter activities, but for the most part, people are less likely to just go out or whatever because it's cold, or I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking from experience. It's a lot harder to convince me to leave my room. Let's just put it that way. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I have found that winter has been really good for just focusing on friends. Have a lot of meaningful conversations with friends to get deep with them, and it's, it sounds scary, and I'm telling you, I know, because it's only this year or the past year, as an upperclassman, that I started really opening up to people. Freshman and sophomore winters were some of my hardest. I felt the loneliest because I actually would not reach out to people. That's a thing. I just let myself just stay in, watch YouTube videos, whereas junior year and now, I have been reaching out to a lot more friends, being honest and more candid about things that I'm struggling with. I have actually felt the least lonely in winter now because it's just the purest form of friendship, I've realized. I actually now look at fall, which used to be, the exciting time, everything was happening, as a more lonely time for me, because that was when I could just go autopilot. That's when I was like, okay, I've got events stacked back to back, I've got classes, everything is just go, 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 go. And that's why fall almost always flies by, is because I was just busy, I was just distracted, whereas winter has forced me to slow down. And I think that's something a lot of people can be scared at my school, and also just I think among very ambitious, very go 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 people, is the second that you can't have all these distractions, we get really scared because we have to turn inwards and face a lot of our big fears. That, I think, if you welcome it with a good attitude, can become one of the most transformative times of your life. And I know it has been for me. Last semester, especially senior fall, I didn't film as many videos and I have so much to still update you guys on. I'm getting there, but it was a really trying time where I had to confront a lot of my fears that I had about relationships, not only in a romantic sense, but also with friendships and family. I'm now coming out of it more aware, so much happier because of it. And I think that's the beauty of winter, is it can be a very reflective time to think about, okay, what in the past, months or semesters have been slowing me down, have been on my mind, but I have not had the time to process because I've just been avoiding it and brushing it under the rug. Winter is a time where you can let all of that come to light, and it makes such a smooth transition going into spring and going to summer, so much happier and so much more appreciative of everything. I kind of look at winter very symbolically. Trees outside are dead and a lot of things are lifeless. So it's a time for me to journal and reflect and examine what parts of my life are dead and what parts do I want come spring to bloom. Okay, that was a whole deep kind of reflective moment there. But next thing though is winter activities. Winter has a lot of new opportunities that you can only do with snow and with a cold. For example, right after this, my friends and I are gonna go skiing. We might want to go tubing also. A Cornell tradition is to go sledding when Live Slope is snowed out. It's just this really sloped part of campus where when it's snowed out, you can go. A lot of people go sledding, some people go snowboarding, but you can try all those winter activities. You can also try cross-country skiing, winter hiking, snowshoeing. The Cornell Outing Club listserv, check your school if you have some outdoor organization, but but they have a ton of opportunities and they show you what fun stuff you can do, especially if you're in a more suburban, rural college town with a lot of nature. There's actually so much you can do. You just have to get plugged into the right communities. Also, third thing that I really like about winter is it's socially acceptable to stay at home. So I've been taking a lot more time to just read, to cook, been playing guitar a lot more, been able to reflect more. Also, another thing I do, which I used to never do, is try to wake up early, around 45 minutes after sunrise, and that is when the sun is just so beautiful. It's like I wake up and there's this soft morning glow in my room. It really starts my day off right. A lot of people will talk about how there's no sun in the winter, and I don't think that's true at all. I think there's a lot of sun, you're just probably asleep or in a library all day to know. It's true, it's not as much as the summer, but I find that if I just get like a little glimpse of the sun in one day, like that's enough for me. Sometimes that like scarcity of the sun makes me appreciate it even more. And the last thing, I kind of started going off about it earlier, but it's to just use the seasons as times to also reflect on the season of your life. And this is something I think a lot more about because I've gotten the chance to pray more and read the Bible more in the winter, and something that's really resonated with me is that there is a season for everything in your life. Oh my gosh, can I just read it actually? It's in Ecclesiastes. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. I really love that, because I think for me it's really easy to lose sight in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of life. Winter is just one season in our lives. Just like this season of being a sophomore, junior, senior, or whatever it is, it really comforts me, because I think a lot of you guys will relate to this too, is you feel like you have to do everything all at once and you have to make progress for it every single day. If we think about our life and the rest of the year just being like that, I feel a little bit more like I'm just on autopilot, like someone has given me a script and I'm just following it step by step and I'm not really living. I find that this concept of seasons and having a specific thing in your life that you're meant to focus on, instead of trying to tackle every single thing that you want to do in your life in that given moment, has helped me slow down and helped me be present in whatever moment or season I'm in right now. In the past, like how I would describe different seasons of my life, where let's say first year, this season was more academically inclined, was get through all the problem sets, just grind, because it's a major requirement, I need it for my major, so that's kind of something I do have to grind. But you know, seasons change. In sophomore year, once I settled in academics, I could focus on extracurriculars, and that season was more explorational because I got to just join a bunch of different clubs. I got to start my own club, got to see what else was out there beyond the classroom walls of Cornell. And then junior year was the pandemic for me, so that was okay. I'm now back home, but my academic life and college life is, you know, in a totally different country. Like, how do I reconcile these two worlds that I'm part of and the identities that come with it? And senior year, I think senior year has just been a season of like overall slowing down and celebrating a lot of the things that I think I've worked pretty hard for. You know, I think I have worked hard for it, and I always feel like I can work harder. But that is, I think, a danger that I've realized, is you can always work harder. You can always do more to get ahead. And you know, it's true, like I have that to thank, I guess, for some of my biggest like accomplishments. But at the end of the day, I didn't have time to actually celebrate it or to spend time with the people that I really cared about, because I was just focused on the next thing, the next big thing. And that is something I'm been really trying to come back in. It's also why I haven't been making as many videos, is because I feel like YouTube, by the way, not like you guys, but my relationship with like social media and YouTube and content creation has been a bit hard sometimes, because the whole mindset is every day, like every week you gotta upload once a week, you need discipline, blah blah blah, and like, man, I've been doing that for like 4 or 5 years. Can I just chill a little bit and just make videos because I love it and not feel like I have to, because that is the way to success. That, I guess, is my final thing to say. Just to be mindful of that in the winter, because it's very easy to go to workaholic tendencies, to just pull yourself into work, to just busy yourself and distract yourself. It's a very common tendency that I've seen among my friends, among myself, and I just really encourage you that if there is something you think you're running away from, that you're trying to escape, that you're too scared to face, bring it to light this winter. Journal it out, talk to people you trust about it, your friends or your family. I think you would be surprised how open people are and how much people want to get to know you more deeply. It's just we're all scared to be the first one to do it. And I know, because that's a step I took last semester, and my friends responded so positively. Honestly, it was kind of crazy, because I had this day in like November that I was feeling so bad. I had been sick the whole week, just super isolated, not reaching out to anybody, just being alone with my thoughts, with my like really bad spiraling thoughts. And I just remember being so desperate and needing to reach out to a friend to talk, and I felt like such a burden. In that moment, I almost did not reach out, because I was like, no, this problem is not like valid, you can just take it on yourself. But honestly, I was like crying, and I was really just stumped in my room. I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna reach out to friends. And they just poured so much love into me. Like, someone, you know, who had just finished class, like, came straight to my apartment. I'm sure, you know, she had work and other things to do, but she just came and she just sat there with me, and she cried with me. She cried more for me, and then we went out on a long walk, and it was just so spontaneous. And just her act of just being so generous and so compassionate, it did something to me. It made me really want to do that for other people. That is an update with how I've been processing winter. I hope it's encouraging. I hope this assures you also that you're so not alone, that I so get how you feel, and I just hope you try some of these things. I hope you reach out to people. I hope maybe you can just look at winter a different way, and not to be just this time to just get over. Go through this time with intention and see what this season has to reveal to you as a person, as a student, a son, daughter. I think every season teaches us something, and I hope you just try to have the open-mindedness to see what that season has in store for you. Okay, well, I'm gonna go skiing now. Stay tuned for that video. You get to meet some of my really close friends this year. If you want to see it, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to share the rest of my senior year and life with you again. Bye!